Hey everybody, Dylan here from Iceberg TV. I received a package in the mail from Prodigy CEO Will Schusterick. We've got some new runs of some of their most popular molds. We've got the Ultra Soft in the more baseline blend. This is the A5 and the 300 Ultra Soft Fractal. These are super gummy, super soft, but they have that sweet jellyfish stamp on them. We have the 750 Glimmer Feedback, which is probably the one I'm the most excited to test out. The Feedback was one of Prodigy's best, newest, and most recent molds. Really, really great disc. And then we've got the new run of D4. Prodigy's definitely upgrading their stamp game recently. This is a very clean, cool looking stamp. D4 is my favorite Prodigy driver personally, so I'm really excited to give this one a throw as well. And then we have two of the Spectrum Air D1s. Again, very cool artwork. They're doing a very nice job over there, really stepping things up over at Prodigy. And hopefully the flights are good, because just the look and the feel and the vibe of these, it really feels like Prodigy is just heading in the right direction. Super stoked on the artwork, the plastics, the foils, everything looks really top notch. Let's try out this Ultra Soft A5 first, and then we'll throw some of the faster discs. Oh, that thing is super beef. And that thing hit the ground and just stopped, which is definitely something you want to pay attention to. Sometimes those super soft discs can be really useful for that type of shot where you want something to just hit and stop. This is the 750 Glimmer Feedback. Curious to see how stable this guy is going to be. Oh, see, that's very nice. Very Firebird-ish. It's not a mold that Prodigy has always had in their lineup, but it's something their lineup always desperately needed. And that flew very nice. It was also very stiff, much more stiff than these Spectrum Air D1s. This one is 164. Still feels like it's going to be pretty overstable. That's actually going to be a nice workable D1. I didn't get it to pop up and turn per se, but I did get it to flip up to flat, which is a really nice shot to have. These, not the most overstable D1s, but pretty stable considering how light that one is. This one's even lighter, 159. Let's see how the pink is flying. Yeah, even the 159, I mean, that's plenty stable enough for me. Goes pretty far as well. But the one I'm most excited about, I'm hoping it's not like unthrowably understable. We've got a 174 D4 here, the cool dog on the bone stamp. Let's throw this out on some hyzer. Yeah, the D4, those can get pretty squirrely on you. They're pretty understable, but it's a great driver for people with slower arms. If you're throwing in that 50 to like 58 mile an hour range, it's going to be a great flyer for you. Easy turn right out of the box. And the D1 is one of those molds where I think if you're going to buy a new run of D1, it's really important that you come and watch video reviews like this, because there's going to be some inconsistencies, especially when they run it in new plastics and new weights. There's definitely some acceptable amounts of room for variation when you're experimenting with new plastics and lighter weights. Although these are D1s specifically were very lightweight, they flew plenty overstable. I'm going to amp up the power on those. And let's see a little bit flatter, or even on a little bit of anhyzer, how they're flying. 750 Glimmer Feedback. Looks great, feels great. Really just feels like a pro caliber disc. So far, feeling good about these new drops from Prodigy. So the Ultra Soft Glow A5 was definitely a lot straighter than this one. I'm actually surprised in this super soft fractal plastic. This thing was actually really overstable. Very impressed by the flight of this Ultra Soft A5. And I did just do tech disc recently, and I'm throwing right around 60 miles an hour, which I think is somewhere in that average to slightly above average range in comparison to most, at least like amateur players. So yeah, I don't throw like crazy hard, but these things are pretty stable, the D1s and the Feedback and the A5. So let's give them a bit more power, a bit more angle. I think this A5 can get a lot of angle. That's a nice flyer, man. That is really good. That actually went way further than I was expecting it to as well. And the 750 Glimmer feedback, it's got a nice mild dome to it, like a little baby pop top. It's gonna be nice and stable, also very stiff around the rim. Feels absolutely fantastic. Super stable. That is, Prodigy's been needing that exact disc in their lineup for a long time. They absolutely nailed it with that one. Let's do the D1s and then we'll do the Super Flip D4. This is the 164 D1. Little angle here. Plenty stable. Fantastic drivers, man. Then this one's a bit lighter, was plenty stable on that first throw. Let's amp it up a little bit more. Get under. Nice. Super fast, super far, super stable. Exactly what you want out of a D1, except it's nice and light. Then we got the D4 here. This thing is basically a roller. Uh-oh. So these new D4s, I would say, are particularly understable. And I kind of knew that, or expecting that, or was expecting that going into it, for the reason that you can see the parting line is almost parallel to the bottom of the disc. But if you look at something like the D1, you can see the parting line where the two halves of the mold come together is way further from the bottom of the disc. So the higher this parting line is, the more stable the disc is going to be in general. So yeah, the D4 is doing exactly what it's been designed to do. Super low parting line, kind of domey, lots of glide, but super understable. I'd be curious to see what I could do in an open field with a tailwind with that. I feel like that D4 is like the perfect max distance disc for me, but it's hard to keep it on like a straight line like this. This is the A5. I mean, the new A5s are, I feel like that's the most stable A5 I've ever thrown, which is really weird because it's the fractal baseline and it's super soft. This is the feedback. Really loving the feedback so far. Great rip on it there. Just super stable, fantastic mold. 750 Glimmer feedback, awesome disc. Got the two D1s. This is the 164. Let's like crank this on a little more angle here, a little more power. I feel like I can really trust these D1s even though they're light. Best run of D1 for me in a while. The new 400 D4s, or I actually had 300 Glimmer D1s as well, I think. They were just too flat, too stable, didn't go far enough for me, or I just didn't throw hard enough to use them, but these are perfect. These are really nice. And that's the 159. Look at the stability. And very respectable distance as well. And then this D4 is kind of hard to throw perfectly because we just don't have enough space, but let's try and put on a lot of hyzer on the left of the fairway here. Yeah, it's one of those discs. If you throw it more than like 50 miles an hour, no matter what you do, it's going to want to try to get down to like roller angle. So I actually feel like I could lay down some nice rollers with that guy as well. And Prodigy has always had, especially for me, a complicated history. Like my 400 SD1s, one of my favorite drivers in my entire collection. But then I've gotten Prodigy discs that just had lots of flashing, inconsistent flight, inconsistent feel and plastic. So I'm pretty critical of Prodigy discs in general when I do any Prodigy related review. I just want to be hyper honest and consistent because of that former reputation of inconsistency. What I can say from these Spectrum Air D1s is that they are very solid. Best run of D1 that I've thrown in a while. 750 Glimmer feedback, also really great. D4, just too flippy for me, but not inherently a bad disc. Really cool stamp. I'd love to see them continue this style of artwork. Very cool, very unique, very pleasing artwork. Just looks super good and clean. And then the 300 Fractal Ultra Soft A5, just an absolute beefcake. Really impressed with all of these discs from Prodigy. It's really great drop overall. That thing is just so stable. It's like they turned a Berg into a normal feeling disc. It would basically just be that. So let's throw the feedbacks. We'll throw the D1s, then the feedback, and then the D4 one last time. That was the super light one, 159. This is the 164 Anheuser. And then we got 750 Glimmer. I really love this plastic. This is definitely my favorite plastic of the bunch. Look and feel wise, it's very, very premium. Then the D4. Let's power down on the D4 and see what it does with less power. So if you throw like 50, if you throw between 45 and 55 miles an hour, that's going to be the farthest flying disc you own, in my opinion. Just super domey, super low parting line, easy to flip up and turn, also potentially great for rollers. But good job, Prodigy. I'm really happy with the discs from this drop. So if you want to check out these discs or any other discs, use my link in the description below. It'll save you 10% at any disc at discgolfdealsusa.com/icebergtv. To get the discount, you must use the link in the description. Stay humble, live with gratitude. I'll catch you in the next one, and take care.